Hello, folks. This is Tony here to give a brief update on Trump's criminal trial in New York and to comment on it from a unique British perspective. Here we are then on the day on which closing arguments will take place. After what I would characterize as a disastrous conclusion to the defense case, in the shape of a man by the name of Robert Costello, who I think put himself forward as Michael Cohen's attorney and who was there clearly to discredit Michael Cohen's evidence. But I don't think he was ever Robert Costello's attorney. He just kind of interviewed for that position, and Michael Cohen, I think, would appear very wisely, chose to go with another attorney. Anyway, this man who came over as a sort of, well, very much a MAGA cult member, really, he managed to comprehensively piss off the judge by really acting very disrespectfully, conducting himself very disrespectfully in the court. So much so that he was told that his conduct was contemptuous by the judge. The judge actually cleared the court to deliver an admonishment to the witness, and it was an absolute disaster, it seems to me. And in the cross-examination of Robert Costello, he was really shown to be a very unpleasant and it seems to me, unethical attorney, because they showed that when he was purporting to be acting in Michael Cohen's interests, it was quite clear that his real boss was Donald Trump. So it just could not have gone worse. And again, comparing that to the British system, can you imagine? I certainly can't. Anything like this ever happening in our system in the UK. So here we are. All the evidence is now concluded, and I understand that the jury instructions, it seems to be a very thorough, complex process, with the jury instructions being hammered out between the judge and the two opposing sides' lawyers. Those jury instructions have been settled by the judge. They will be given, I think, to the jury today, and then there will come the closing arguments from each side. And strangely, I understand, I think this is right, that the defense goes first with their closing argument, and then the prosecution gives their closing argument, which means they get the final word because they have the burden of proving every element of their case beyond all reasonable doubt. Looking at the trial overall, it seems to me that the prosecution laid out a very strong and comprehensively corroborated, and by that I mean corroborated mainly on paper with documents, which makes it very hard to say otherwise. Their case was very comprehensively corroborated, and it's a clear story that hangs together and makes sense. Whereas the defense just seemed to be all over the place. Not even admitting that the sexual encounter with Stormy Daniels, between her and Stormy Daniels, took place, which seemed to me to be beyond belief. And not really certainly not delivering what they promised to deliver in their opening speech, which seems to me to be really, really crucial. So that's just my perspective. So I think that when it comes to the prosecution's case, they are going to just draw all the evidence together and make clear to the jury why everything that has been asserted is corroborated on paper, and that the defense position, such as it is, uh, I say such as it is because it doesn't seem to me that they've really addressed what's been alleged. It just doesn't hang together. That's my feeling. So I would be surprised if I would be very surprised if there isn't a conviction here. Of course, the other possibility is that there could be a hung jury because all 12 members of the jury have to be unanimous in their decision. And who knows, anything can happen in a jury. And who knows whether there is a Trump supporter on there hiding, having given perhaps having found their way onto the jury by deceptive means. Who knows? I'm not saying that has happened, and from all the reporting, it seems as though the jury has been very, very attentive, but they're not giving anything away. So it'll be fascinating. How quickly the decision comes back after today from the jury, whether it goes days and days, which could happen, whether they ask for evidence to be shown to them, because as I understand it, they're not allowed to take even the jury instructions into the deliberations, and they can't take any evidence in. So I imagine that what happens is that they actually ask for any evidence to be delivered to them, anything that they want to see. That's the way the system works in that jurisdiction, as I understand it. So obviously, if they do call for any evidence, it will be fascinating to see what they have called for. But then we will, anyway, after today, let's see how the closing arguments go. And after today, we will be on tenterhooks, won't we? Just in this historic case, the first American president, the only American president to have been criminally prosecuted. And if it leads to a conviction, well, who knows what's going to happen, because America is, as we've discussed before, it seems to me to be so divided, so polarized. And that's been going on for a number of years. As regular listeners will know, Christine and I lived there seasonally for some 12 years in Southwest Florida, and we were really impacted by how our friends and neighbors were so at opposite ends of their political opinions, such that it was difficult to navigate dinner parties and social gatherings of any kind. And that has only become more and more entrenched. But that was before Trump rose to the political heights that he has. But now, with Trump, the most divisive figure that one could possibly imagine. I mean, you couldn't make him up, could you really? that has been so heightened that one wonders what's going to happen to the country as this story continues to unfold. If there is a conviction here, it won't be accepted by the Trump apostles. And we know that amongst their ranks, there are even Supreme Court judges. That's how much trouble the country's in. And he will certainly appeal. And that will go on, no doubt, for years. And he has friends in high judicial places, which can cause people who can cause all kinds of mischief, like the judge in Florida, Eileen Cannon, who's dealing with the secret, the secure documents case. Who knows? Therefore, I shudder to think. Anyway, Christine and I are now off up north to Yorkshire and then the Lake District to meet our new granddaughter. So we'll be focusing on very different and very much happier things. But let's see. It's going to be so interesting to see what happens in this case. But that's all for now. Do comment via our podcast Facebook page is the same as the name of the podcast, Refinement Not Retirement. You can find that on Facebook and make comments either privately directly to us or openly if you'd like to. But I look forward to discussing the outcome of the case in the coming days. But for now, it's goodbye from me. See you, everybody. Thank you. Bye.